talk with me. I wasn't going to come. What for? Don't you remember me anymore? I can't have changed that much. I remember you. There are some things a person cannot forget, no matter how much they want to. Look. Have a good look. When they told me of your stroke, I felt a thorn stuck here. I had to get it out. Even though you could no longer speak, even though you could no longer listen to me, I know you're listening. I know it. Some things you just know. This isn't going to be easy. Well, nothing with you was easy. But it's important. Once there was a girl. We'll call her the therapist. That's what her students called her when they saw her coming. The therapist is here. The therapist is here. When she was a little girl, the therapist dreamed of being a superhero. But not just any superhero. She wanted to be a smart and just superhero. Like Hart from The Paper Chase. The TV show, do you remember? The brave boy who stood up in the middle of class, faced the teacher, and argued. When she saw the movie In the Name of the Father, she said, when I grow up, I'm going to be like Emma Thompson. I'm going to stand in the middle of the room and get all the innocent people out of jail. But television and movies are one thing, and being here is another. The first time she entered a prison, she threw up. It was ugly. Everyone. Her boss, her colleagues, they all said, she won't be able to endure it. This is not for women. She won't be back. But she did go back. She always went back. And she sought out her boss and asked for the most difficult cases, the ones no one else wanted to take. And little by little, she became strong. Now, when she entered a prison, her stomach didn't turn anymore. Do you know what they said now? Look at the doctor. Don't be afraid. She looks like a man, doesn't she? And when work got hard, she did capoeira or yoga to lower her stress. And though she could have quit her job many times, she never did. Do you know why? Because that's the way she is. Because she can. Because she endures. One day, the Ministry of Justice called her. An old colleague wanted to see her. He had a problem, a situation. Doctor, we've got a problem, a situation with the inmates at the Naval Base prison. They're fighting all day long. They're going crazy. The human rights people have become involved. You know how they are. I've been asked to do a project to avoid a tragedy. Doctor, do you think you could go in and do something? Her stomach turned hard. She thought she was going to throw up. But she endured. She always endures. A project? Yes, anything. Doctor, you do capoeira, right? Why don't you go in there and teach them capoeira? But, Doctor, Coronel, to do capoeira, you have to be young, strong, fit. The inmates at the naval base are older, aren't they? Well, they could injure themselves, break something. It'll never work. Then the Coronel gave her a look. She knew that look. Girl, give me a break. Give me a hand with this. Throw me a bone, anything. Anything at all. We could do a yoga workshop. Yoga? Yes. Yoga's gentle. Anyone can do it. Hey, They do yoga at prisons in the United States. If they do it there, we could do it here too, right? Only no one enters that prison. Doctor, don't worry. You do a good project, and I will get you in. The therapist stopped for a moment in the doorway of the ministry. She couldn't believe what had just happened. Out of all the people in the world, she was going to be allowed to enter the place that no one enters, to see the men that no one sees, the inmates of the naval base prison. The enemy, evil. And she was going to look it straight in the eye, into the eyes of the 5 historic leaders of the Shining Path and the MRTA. And one of her students was going to be Abimael Guzman. Don't look at me like that. She couldn't say no. This was an extraordinary opportunity. Who wouldn't have wanted to be in her place? But that night on the ride home, the therapist began to remember a time when she wasn't so strong, so tough, so manly. When she was 9 years old, and what she liked most were blackouts. Do you know why? Because every time the lights went out, she met her mother and her brother in the kitchen to play. Crazy eights, slapjack, Chinese checkers, chutes and ladders. Because she wasn't afraid in the darkness. There she had family. And every time the lights came back, she crosses her fingers in the hopes that it will go out again. Until she hears him arrive. The enemy, evil. She knows she has 3 minutes from the time the car rounds the corner until he opens the door to the room. She can guess his mood by the way he puts down his briefcase, the rhythm of his footsteps, the sound of his voice. Sometimes he's calm, affectionate, and asks her to give him a kiss today because she has to kiss him every day of the year and they're only up to 152. But sometimes he's upset. And when he's upset, he yells, and when he yells, the universe splits in two. Come here. Come here, I said. Let's see your grades. What is this crap, huh? Don't you realize you won't get anywhere like that? You won't get anywhere with that face. What? Oh, no. Don't give me that face. Come here. Close the door. And then you make your stomach hard so you don't throw up while he does what he does to you, so you'll learn. And what's breaking your face and your ass is for your own good. Why do you look at me like that? Didn't you say you want to talk with me? Well, we're talking, aren't we? That same night, the therapist got to work. First, she read the report by the Medical Commission, the Naval Base Prison. Conditions of confinement. Strictly closed regime, almost without activities, almost without visits. 2 by 2 cells. Bed, a table, a chair, a patio. Nothing more. Then she reviewed the psychiatric evaluation. What the coronel said was right. The inmates suffered from psychotic disorders. Symptoms of paranoia and post-traumatic stress, anxiety, and depression. Low self-esteem, irritability, sleep disturbance, loss of appetite, difficulty concentrating and attention deficits, severe depression, and suicidal thoughts. Have you ever been inside a prison? She has, many times. Time is a very efficient jailer, the best. Do you know why? A free man has a past and a future. He has memories, hope. But an inmate with a 20, 30-year sentence does not. All he has is the present, a long and frightening present. That's why the spirit of an inmate is so easy to break. That's why those inmates were going crazy. Because the people who built the prison knew what they were doing. They knew how to make the punishment hurt more. Do you know what the inmates call the naval base prison? Nemesis, like the Greek goddess of retribution. Objective: to enable the inmates to develop their physical and mental strength in a joint manner that permits them to achieve a higher quality of life. Legal basis: Political Constitution of Peru, Supreme Decree 015-2003, Chapter 1, Article 11, and Legislative Decree 654, Title 3, Article 60. Every inmate is entitled to his well-being. Access to health services, water, nutrition, hygiene, his defense, and an education that permits him to rehabilitate himself and rejoin society. Proposed activities: yoga exercises and meditation to enable the inmates to connect with themselves. Frequency: 1 class weekly, duration 12 weeks. Equipment: 5 yoga mats, 5 pairs of cotton pants, 5 white cotton polo shirts, 5 polar fleece quilts, 5 towels, 5 herbal eye pillows, 1 yoga and tai chi DVD, and 1 CD of relaxing music. Beneficiary population: Miguel Rincon, Peter Cárdenas Schult, Victor Polay Campos, Oscar Ramirez Duran, and Abimael Guzman. What do you want to say to me? That the therapist was out of her mind? That she was irresponsible? How could she teach yoga to them? That all they deserve is for someone to put a gun to their head and pull the trigger? A bullet in the head and so much bullshit is over. No. She wasn't crazy, and she wasn't the least bit irresponsible. She was just doing her job, the one no one else wanted to do. The coronel kept his promise. He got the project approved quickly and gave her 1 month to prepare. There was a lot to do. Buy equipment, clothes, read basic yoga, insomnia and stress, meditation for beginners, watch documentaries on yoga in prison. Did you know that meditation is practiced in prisons in India and the United States? It's called Vipassana meditation. You meditate for 10 days in silence all day long, and your mind transforms. At one prison in Seattle, the recidivism rate fell by 20%. The inmates reduced their levels of hostility, anxiety, depression. They said they felt optimistic. Do you know what Vipassana means? To see things as they really are. She wanted that. To look without fear. To take a good look. The therapist started a file for each of her students. She didn't know much about them. She didn't want to know about them either. The less she knew, the better. But Her students needed to learn a routine that they could practice when the workshop ended. She needed to know their physical condition, their ailments, their medical history, in order to not cause them any harm or injury. She needed to look in their files, to see things as they really are, to look without fear, to take a good look. And suddenly, she's 12 years old and ready to finish primary school. Her teacher approaches her in the middle of class. They're going to come and get you. Collect your things. So she gets her backpack and walks to the exit. Her father is waiting outside in the car. And he's crying. She's never seen him cry before. The terrorists have kidnapped your grandpa. Oh, her stomach turns hard. I hope I don't throw up. She wants to hug him, cry with him, give him a kiss today to calm him, make him happy. But what if that upsets him? No, better not to. On the way home, they passed the IBM building. Look, take a good look. In order to survive in this country, you have to be strong. And so she looks. That is her first memory of the war. A windowless building like the black skeleton of a dinosaur. And her father looking at everything through the car window, and her looking at him with all the fear in the world. That night she prays to God to make the terrorists let Grandpa go soon, very soon. But instead, the terrorists ask for a lot of money. And because her father needs time to get the money, the terrorists cut off Grandpa's ear and mail it to her father in a plastic bag. And so her father goes crazy and screams that they're all a bunch of fucking bastards. How is it possible that no one has the balls to put a gun to his head and pull the trigger, because that's what would need to be done? A bullet to the head and so much bullshit is over. Until one day, her father gets the money and the terrorists let Grandpa go and everyone's very happy and there's a party. And so she goes with her father and her mother and her brother. And once again, her father says, look, take a good look. And she sees Grandpa Julio, pale, skinny, disfigured. And her father smiling and happy like never before. Oh, and she likes this so much that she gives him 2 kisses on the cheek and recites a poem that she wrote for the end of school. The terrorist. The terrorist is there and here. He cannot live without fear. With weapons potent, he shoots at the innocent. The terrorist is a criminal. He behaves like an animal. He thinks he should rule, but he is a fool. The terrorist likes to destroy, cause suffering, nothing else. Miguel, Oscar, Peter, Victor, Abimael. That's when her nightmares began. She would wake up in the middle of the night screaming with an enormous weight on her chest like an elephant's foot. Her mom suggested she take sleeping pills. Sleeping pills? She doesn't take pills. Because she can. Because she endures. Mountain pose. Arms to the sky. But that night, while I practiced, I couldn't stop thinking, why did you open your big mouth? Capoeira, no, but yoga? Yes. What is with you? You're a lawyer, not a yoga teacher. Chaturanga. You just start practicing and now you're going to start teaching? Upward facing dog. And what the fuck are you going to say to those guys anyway? Concentrate on your inner body, Miguel. Bring your attention to the breath, Oscar. Focus your mind on the present moment, Peter. Inhale. Touch the sky with your hands, and you become one with the universe, Abimael. You become one with the universe, Abimael. There are words that do not belong in the same sentence. Downward facing dog. Oh. She needed someone she could talk to, who would listen to her, not judge her, not open their mouth. Table pose. What if she spoke with her yoga teacher? She might be able to help her, right? She must know something, that's why she's a yoga teacher. Excuse me, teacher, have you got a moment? Of course, dear. Teacher, look, what's happening is they've asked me to teach a yoga workshop in a prison and... Seriously, dear? That's beautiful. You are so fortunate. The universe has given you an incredible opportunity. Yeah, right. Teacher, I can't sleep. I need you to advise me because these inmates, they have done some terrible things. Dear, the line that separates you from those inmates is thinner than you think. Oh, yeah? Of course, dear. Haven't you ever wanted to steal something that wasn't yours? Haven't you ever hurt someone who hurt you? Teacher, these guys are different. No, dear, no. We are all equal. We're all potential criminals, prisoners of our own emotions, hostages of our own mind. We all contain good and evil within us. We're all part of the same dream. Teacher, my students are Miguel, Oscar, Peter, Victor, and Abimael. That's who they are. Now tell me, what can I do? How can I? How? And then her teacher didn't say anything. She stood still. She shut up. And then the therapist took advantage of it and told her everything. Her blue nights, the lion, the elephant's foot that wouldn't let her sleep, her nightmares. In her dreams, she runs, and suddenly she turns around, and there he is, the enemy, evil, and she wants to continue running, but she stumbles and falls. And then the enemy gets closer, and she can see its face. And the enemy is everyone. Her father, her mother, her brother, Grandpa, the Coronel, everyone, and everyone keeps saying just one thing, traitor. They repeat again and again, traitor, traitor. And she wants to ask them to stop, to tell them that she's afraid and that the universe has begun to split in two. But her throat is dry like the bark of a burnt tree. And her teacher yells, shut up. And in her eyes, she can see fire. She sees anger. She sees rage. And she knows that look. A bullet to the head and so much bullshit is over, right? And then the therapist covers her mouth like she's afraid of herself. And leaves. It's difficult to help someone, especially when the enemy is here. She was going to be the first woman they would see in a long time, so she decides to defeminize as much as possible. She puts on her lucky leggings, cotton polo shirt, and a very large sweater so that no one can see anything. The car arrived at 7 in the morning. The chauffeur took the beach route and then on to Callao. The ride took an hour and a half. The chauffeur didn't say a word. Neither did she. In situations like these, it's better not to speak. You need silence and time to enter and exit the inferno. Do you know where the naval base is? There, where the Rimac River ends. The first door is the biggest, the first control. They verify everything there. You sign in and pass to door number 2, the second control. Verify again, sign again, leave your ID. They check your photo. You advance. Enter the armored car, please. Your passage is authorized, but if you do not obey, they have orders to fire. Okay. You cross a minefield. 200 meters of swamps and dozens of soldiers armed to the gills. 80 acres in just 20 minutes. Then you arrive at the double wall of the penitentiary, tall and thick like life, covered in razor and barbed wire, and you ask yourself, is it just me or is everyone afraid of these inmates? First door, review. No man's land. Second door, review. Walk straight, enter through the gate on the right diagonal, cross the 4-meter hall, do not look to either side, do not look into those doors with the circular glass, never look into the cells. Okay. Inside are the commander of the base and the director of the penitentiary, all very amiable, all very distant, all very, good morning, pass, thank you. But you realize they know why you've come and they don't want you here. The commander calls to you, Doctor, none of the interns know your name. It's for your safety. All they know is a therapist is coming to give them yoga lessons. Your legs start to shake. Don't let them notice. You make your face strong, you nod, make your stomach hard, and continue walking until you reach the large patio. Above, turrets with soldiers in ski masks watching. Below, in the middle of the patio, your students. The commander introduces you. She is the therapist who's going to come and give yoga classes. They are your students. They've been waiting since early this morning. You feel his eyes on you, his curiosity, his lack of confidence. Your hands and legs start to shake. Don't let them notice, don't let them notice. Peter, how's it going? Victor, how are you? Miguel, good morning. Oscar, how you doing? You are as professional as possible. You do not offer them your hand. You do not want to touch them. Could you? She is the therapist who's going to come and give yoga classes. I will not be able to take your class because of my health. His voice is slow. His Arequipenian accent is thick. We can do a special breathing routine for you if you want. No, but thanks. But I would like to watch your class. Is that possible? Sure. And then he turns to go. And that is your first day. That night, the therapist does not want to listen to the voices in her head. She wants to relax, regain control. study, when she was in school, one of her bodyguards took her. After Grandpa Julio's kidnapping, her father was afraid and hired bodyguards. Even she had one. Miss, capoeira is very intense, but I think you'll like it. She didn't last 2 seconds in her first round. A kick to the middle of the face knocked her down. She felt so much rage. And her master quadrupled it. Where's your center? Where's your defense? How many times have I told you? Bend your knees. She wanted to be strong and quick, but they knocked her down again and again. Miss, when I enter a fight, I look him in the eye, so you know what he's going to do, how to hit him. When you know what he's going to do, don't hesitate then hit and push hard like a man. Like there's someone in front of you whose face you want to break. As if she could break his face at last. So she looked her opponent in the eye. Suddenly, she knew what to do. She hit and pushed hard. From then on, she won. Do you know how many kilos of force a capoeira kick has? 816. More than karate and Muay Thai combined. When she learned that, she was glad. Maybe one day even she could be that strong. Maybe one day she could kill. From then on, that was her routine. 7 in the morning, Operation Defeminization. Polo, leggings, sweater, car, beach, callao, door 1, door 2, control, photo check, advance, first door, second door. The therapist is here, the therapist is here. 2 guards in front, 2 behind, soldiers in the turrets, on the walls, on the roof. It's only 10 in the morning, the world has become very warlike. And you walk to the large patio, and there they are. Victor, Oscar, Miguel, Peter, in their new uniforms, waiting. Abimael behind the fence, waiting. Your hands and legs betray you once again. I hope they don't notice. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Here, teacher. Waiting for you. Yoga comes from India. Yoga means union of the body, mind, and spirit. By practicing yoga, one can strengthen the body, clear the mind, open the heart and consciousness to true freedom. Any questions? No? Good. Let's begin with a breathing exercise. Breathing is always the most important thing in yoga. We stand with our feet together, heels and feet touch. Arms down, hands under the chin, elbows down, shoulders away from the ears. We inhale, lifting the elbows. We exhale, opening the mouth, bring the elbows together, look back. And again, we inhale, shoulders down, elbows rise. We exhale, mouth open. We look back. They followed her instructions without ever contradicting her, without ever taking their eyes off her. Let's begin with this sequence of poses. Very good. The first one is called half moon pose. Feet together, ankles and feet touch. Arms overhead, fingers interlock, index fingers extend, thumbs cross, hands like a pistol. We bend and stretch our bodies to the right. Engage the navel, lowering the shoulders. She corrected them without ever personalizing their mistakes. Without touching them, she never touched them. And to the left. Eventually, they stopped looking at her. They began to concentrate, to sweat. Look without fear. Take a good look. Peter is the youngest of the three. He's in the best physical condition, and he seems very interested in learning. He's also the most talkative. At the end of every class, he tells you how he's feeling, and he always feels better. Miguel is the nerd of the group. He does all of the poses to the max, frowning, questioning everything, wanting to do everything perfectly. Victor is the least in touch with his body. He has a hard time doing the poses. He's a little overweight. At first, he just stood there looking at her in silence. Later, he began to complain. And then he never stopped complaining. Oscar has a leg disability. He has a hard time doing the poses, but he never complains. And he's always angry, as if he hated the world, hated yoga, hated everything. Abimael couldn't go on the patio with the others, so she does her class in front of his fence so that he can watch. Sometimes he looks at her. Sometimes she looks at him. And suddenly, she's 13. She doesn't remember what movie was playing, just that there were few people. The lights go out, projection starts, and suddenly someone yells, "They've planted a bomb! Everyone, get out!" She sits frozen. She doesn't know what to do. Then her father looks at her and says, "What are you doing? Run!" So she starts to run fast to the car, to the street, and suddenly someone yells again, "Calm down. You have plenty of time. Nothing is going to happen to you if you exit slowly." And she thinks, who is this man yelling? How does he know nothing is going to happen to them? But her throat is dry like the bark of a burnt tree. So she continues running all the way to the car. And then she climbs in, and her father starts it. And she looks at her father and her mother and asks, "What's happening?" And then the father and the mother turn, and she turns too. And they see the movie theater burning in flames. And her whole body trembles, and she can't endure it. And she feels the heat go down between her legs, staining the seat. And her father looking at her. She wants him to not look at her like that, to forgive her for going in the car, to hug her and tell her everything's going to be all right. But he doesn't do that. He just turns without looking at her, without looking at anyone, without looking at her anymore. Namaste. First report of workshop of diverse activities focused on yoga. In the first classes, the students have performed breathing exercises and basic poses. One inmate has a disability for which a special routine will be prepared. Another inmate has requested information on Tai Chi. Some have more capacity than others. but all participate, show respect, and follow instructions. Everyone is eager to learn. Defeminization. Car, beach. Door 1, door 2, control. Photo check. The therapist is here. The therapist is here. 2 guards in front, behind, fence, wall, patio, them. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Here, waiting for you. Let's begin. Standing bow pose. Feet together, heels touch. Right palm up. We take the right foot on the inside. Left arm up. We let ourselves fall forward. That morning, Peter told her that Miguel got up at 6 in the morning to practice, but not to connect with himself, only to do the poses better than the others, and by the way, impress her. Miguel's enthusiasm inspired Peter, who was not going to be left behind. Well, if he can do it, so can I. Then Victor got involved. If they can do it, so can I. But because he never practiced, his poses didn't turn out. And he was very frustrated. Even Oscar began to compete. He wanted to do everything the others did, but he couldn't because of his leg. Until one day, he no longer came to class. One day, he no longer came out of his cell. It's not about doing the perfect pose or doing it better than anyone else. It's about entering the poses with humility and concentrating on the breath. Nothing more. Nothing. All yoga classes were like this. Everyone wants to do the poses better than the others, impress the teacher. Even she was like that. Her yoga class was the same as any other class. Her students were the same as any others. Equal to her, equal to any human being. That day, an officer approached. Doctor, the inmates are calmer. They fight less amongst themselves. They complain less. They even brush their teeth. She thought the officer was joking, but no, he never took his eyes off her. She knew that look. Are you out of your mind? Do you have shit for brains? Have you already forgotten who those guys are? Have you already forgotten about Grandpa Julio and everything they did to him? What are you doing here? Lightening the sentence? Freeing the conscience, opening the heart. What did you think, traitor? That this place is a spa? This is a prison. And a prison takes your freedom, it doesn't give it back. But of course, what can we expect from you if, while the country was bleeding to death, you lived on another planet with your parties, with your capoeira, with your boyfriends? How easy it is to play superhero in times of peace. Let me tell you one thing, therapist. If your little students are still alive, it's only because no one has the balls to put a pistol to their head and pull the trigger, because that's what should be done. A bullet in the head and so much bullshit is over. Second report on workshop of diverse activities focused on yoga. The inmates are happy. They've begun to memorize the basic poses. Their bodies are closed and stiff. They're not accustomed to moving. There is much work to do. Defeminization. Callao. Door 1. Door 2. DNI. Armored car, 20 minutes. The therapist is here. The therapist is here. Guards in front, behind, fence, wall, patio, them. Sorry for the delay. Why did it take so long? How could you possibly arrive so late? We wait for you all week. Who do you think you are to make us wait? Forgive me, Victor. It won't happen again. Let's begin. Feet together, hands under the chin, elbows down. We inhale. Elbows rise. I am not going to continue taking your class. You can't do yoga in a place that smells fishy. As you wish, Victor. We inhale. Exhale. Open the mouth. Look back. So why do they check you so much at the door, huh? To stop you sneaking in mobile phones? So what's wrong coming in here with some mobile phones? Taking a few pictures, getting the internet in here. I don't even know how mobile phones work. I don't even know what the internet is. Victor. You carry the weight. And why do we do yoga from India? We should be doing yoga from Peru. What's going on is they want to kill us. That's it. They want to poison us with the air, kill us with the food. I don't want to go on. I will not go on. And then everybody else starts to go. Says he has rights. And how can they possibly treat him like this? And he hit his fence with a stick again and again. So she could break his face. Enough! Down, dog! Everyone! Hands to feet, I said. Stretch your arms. Stretch them! Now you're going to do what I tell you. Push the ground with your hands. With your hands, I said. That's how you push, huh? Don't do that, or that don't collapse in the middle. Push, obey. You won't get anywhere with that attitude. You won't get anywhere with that stomach. You won't get anywhere with those legs. Don't look at me. Upward facing dog. Is that up, animal? Up, I said. Don't look at me, dog. What were you thinking to look at me like that, huh? Dog hanging from a pole, black-headed dog, killer dog, fucking dog. That day, the therapist leaves without saying goodbye. She leaves them with a packet of readings and a video on meditation to review as homework. Some days the therapist doesn't like her job. Honestly, sometimes she hates it. How she wanted to tell the coronel that she was leaving and not coming back. She was suspending the workshop. But she couldn't quit her job because she's strong. Because she's a superhero. Who does what nobody else wants to do. Because she can. Because she endures. Because she is 16. And her father is sitting on her bed, shaking her. Where's your brother? What? Where's your brother? I don't know. He didn't say anything to you? No. Don't lie to me, damn it. No. We're going to look for him. You stay here. And everyone leaves. The father, the mother, and the bodyguards. There are more bodyguards now than ever. After Grandpa Julio has died, and her father is now a very important man, an illustrious member of the government who won the war and has eradicated the evil ones, the subversives, that rebuilds the country and looks to the future without looking back. Her little brother, where can he have gone? She knows what no one else knows. That they hurt him at school and that he's dying of fear that father will find out. That last night he couldn't sleep. Suddenly she has a hunch. She runs down the street, around the corner to the park where they take the dog, where they go on Sundays. And there he is. Under a cement bench, curled up like a little bird with a broken wing, who's afraid to see her and riddles her with questions. How did you know I was here? Is father upset? Where is he? What did he say? I don't know. A little. They've gone out looking for you. Nothing. And then she takes him by the hand and walks alongside him as slowly as she possibly can. How she wishes she never had to come. She wishes she could tell him what he has to do, to make your stomach hard. Endure, the pain always passes. But she's ashamed. Better not to. Mother receives them crying. And father. And when they walk to the room where her father will grind her brother with belts, she knows the only thing she knows how to do when the universe splits in two. Ahora esa, ahora esa, ahora esa, ahora esa, me la tocó na capoeira, me la tocó, e vou jogar, me la tocó na capoeira, me la tocó, e vou jogar. That night she couldn't sleep. Not from sadness or emotion, from pure vertigo. Because now, the world had changed. The courage of the smallest one had forged a pathway, and now she knew that freedom exists. Someplace far away, but it exists. Because if her little brother could be free for an instant, so could she, when she was stronger. What are you trying to say to me? But you didn't know that. How could you know? You had no idea about anything. Defeminization. Callao. Door 1, 2, DNI. Armored car, 20 minutes. The therapist is here. Guards in front, behind, fence, wall, patio, them. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Here, waiting for you. We watched that documentary you left us. The one where the prisoners meditate for 10 days in silence without talking to anyone? We've been here for more than 10 years without talking to anyone either. We feel very advanced in Vipassana meditation. That day, they did the entire sequence, from the pranayama breathing to the kapalbhati. You see them calm, relaxed. Even the soldiers in the turrets are watching. The workshop had become quite an event. Today we're going to do the final pose. It's called the corpse pose, or shavasana. It's the most difficult pose. We lie on the floor, close our eyes, and breathe easy. If thoughts come, we simply let them go. That's the most difficult. You cover them with the blankets you brought. It's wintertime, and shavasana always lowers the blood pressure. Then you look at them with their heads turned to the side, like babies waiting for someone to come and engulf them, like to reward them for having done well in class, like men no one had touched in over 20 years. Do you know what you think when you look at them like this? How easy it would be to kill them. Because you already know how you can kill. And then one of them opens their eyes and looks at you, and you know that look. That turn. What was that fight about? I don't remember anymore. Why was I late? Why did I cut my hair short like a man? For the umpteenth time, why hadn't I entered university? I don't know. What I do know is that I am 18 years old and you are telling me to my face that I am useless. And what difference does it make anymore what I do or stop doing? Because what more can you expect from a woman who now looks like a man? And I can't take it anymore. And I come closer to you. I have 816 kilos of force in each of my legs, and all I can think is, I hate you, and I'm going to kill you. Because there is nothing in this world more powerful than hate. Hate that inspires, strengthens, opens doors like a river. And from the mountain, the river comes down. The wind comes down. The town comes down. Entire towns come down. And with them comes punishment. The inevitable fire, the necessary fruitful violence, the hope, the will of man. The future that is created, imagined, invented. Before I can do something to you, you step back, afraid of me. And you go, and I can't believe it, I am stronger than you! I walk back to my room. My thoughts are racing a mile a minute. I look out the window, the tree in the garden, how it's grown. And suddenly I know what I have to do. I've known it all my life. I don't lock my door. I know you're not going to come for me, not now, not ever. A change of clothes for summer and winter. A pair of sneakers and sandals. One for running and walking. Nothing more is needed in life. I don't have any money, but at the moment, that doesn't matter. It's early morning and I have got to go. I say goodbye to everything. To my brother, with his little bird-like expression, I will sometimes miss seeing. How I wish I could take you with me, but I can barely take myself. And to my mother, who sleeps with all this sadness I will one day understand. And to you, sleeping. And suddenly you open your eyes, like them, like now. Like you want me to give you a kiss, one for each day of the year, remember? No. Never again. I peep out the window, the bodyguards are asleep. I hang from the tree, lower myself down. Walk to the gate, climb the fence, get to the street, the avenue, and I start to walk, and walk, and walk. And the world is blue, and it's perfect. At that moment, I don't know how hard the world is going to be with me. Or that my mother will leave you soon, with my little brother in hand. Or that she'll tell me that I gave her strength, because if I could leave, so could she. At this moment, I don't know any of that. All I know is that life is full of promises, and it's mine at last. You don't know any of that because you were sleeping. But I was awake. What? Oh. Are you crying, Papa? Are you crying for me? Oh. Workshop of diverse activities focused on yoga. Final report. The students show improved health and mood. They're very interested in continuing the workshop and have expressed sadness that it is ending. Peter liked painting very much. He gave me this painting I've kept so far. See you later, Peter. Mikaela liked salsa music. He gave me a CD I've never seen before. Never heard it. Teacher, can you come back and teach us a Tai Chi workshop? I think better not. Miguel's liable to go and hit the guards. I'll suggest it. Victor gave me his blessing. He had become very religious lately. God bless you too, Victor. Oscar apologized for having left the workshop. Don't worry, Oscar. It's okay. I'm not used to doing these things. It's hard to help a man, especially when the enemy is here. Abimael approached his fence. Although I haven't participated actively, I appreciate everything you have done here. You're welcome. Can I ask you something? Could you repeat this workshop at Chorrillos Women's Maximum Security Prison? My wife is there. At Chorrillos, they have plenty of activities. It's here that you're lacking things to do. That's why I came. But could you try to? I'll suggest it. I extend my hand to him. He reciprocated. Before I went, I left them 5 packets of incense, glycerin soap, CDs of relaxing nature music, and the books Laughter Therapy, Chakras, Concepts, and Breakthroughs, and Harmony for the Body, Mind, and Spirit. At the door, a guard approached. Doctor, those exercises you did were very interesting. Could you come back and do a workshop for us too? I'll suggest it. The following week, I turned in the workshop satisfaction survey to the Coronel. Do you consider that the workshop improved your physical condition? Yes, quite a lot. I found I had muscles and bones that didn't work, and now they do. It allowed us to use different parts of our bodies. Do you consider that the workshop was well administered? Yes, well administered. It was very educational. It allowed us to use our inner worlds. Do you consider it useful to continue the workshop? Yes, because we have yet to improve, perfect, and learn new sequences. Yes, because people come from outside. Do you have any final comments? Yes, the workshop should be continued. Thanks very much. From the heart. Hugs and kisses. The Coronel was pleased. I think it was a good idea to call you. Coronel, we could renew the workshop for the inmates and extend it to the personnel on the base. We have more urgent problems at the moment. I'll look into it, though. The request was not successful. I don't know what I came here for. I told you all this. I wanted you to know what I did, and that you heard it from me. Because when I saw them, when I really saw them, I wasn't afraid of them anymore. It's foolish, I know, but it's true. I'm not afraid of them anymore. And without this tightness here, without this elephant's foot, I'm free. As you want me to be. And without this thorn stuck here. Yes, I think that's why I came. Do you remember the yoga teacher? What she said? How we're all part of the same dream? In my dream, you walk calm and free. And everything around you is the color of dawn. The most beautiful color in the whole world. Are you smiling, Papa? That's good. I knew you were listening to me. I knew it. Some things you just know.